Do you remember playing Pokemon Silver at night for the first time? Well, I do, but I wanted to experience it without worrying about my bedtime. Welcome back to Johto After Dark. Now, if you missed the first installment, I could only capture Pokemon that appeared exclusively at night. Of course, my night crew and I have our sights set on the Hall of Fame, but we had to clock in for our first night shift. Since Johto's night owls appear exclusively between 6 p.m. and 3:59 a.m. and are few in number, I would need to employ some strategy, taking on the gym leaders along the road to the Elite Four. Training late into the night, my nocturnal Pokemon and I progressed further into Johto, adding more night crawlers to the NiteDex. Although some unforeseen challenges have arisen, my team and I have done well to work together and to grow, to rise to those new challenges. And after a few nights' hard work, the team collected the first 4 badges in Johto, suffering only 1 KO in Goldenrod Gym. This team has truly come alive at night, but a few questions remain. Like, should Umbreon be included on my nighttime lineup? And what else can I do to optimize my crew? I have a few ideas. The nightlife in Goldenrod is like no other locale in Johto, and I'm interested in TM25 Thunder for sure. I just need to keep hitting these 777s at the Goldenrod City game corner. But I can't spend all night at the slots. Now, if you're smart, you'll have mom save you a couple of bucks every time you win battles. You might be surprised just how much she saves. And while I'm in the neighborhood, I need to obtain Psyduck. Now, Psyduck won't be used in battle, but there is no other option when you need an HM slave. So now, with all my Psyducks in a row, I head back to Cyanwood City where Chuck has the Storm Badge. Since last episode, my Pokemon and I have done quite a bit of training, but my Staryu is relatively new to the team. The addition of water-type moves will be so useful going forward. Unfortunately, much like Gloom, it doesn't evolve without the use of an elemental stone, and they're not available until post-game Kanto, so we'll have to make do for now. Chuck, of course, specializes in fighting-type Pokemon, but if I'm not careful, he can still put a hurting on my ghosts. However, all of my nocturnal Pokemon, with the exception of Staryu, have a hypnic quality about them. That is, they can put all of my opponents to sleep. And admittedly, it has played a crucial role in my success so far. These creatures of the night much prefer shadowy techniques. But of course, we've long since come to terms with the fact that hypnosis is not incredibly reliable and puts my Pokemon at risk. Yes, Chuck not only manages to scare the pants off of me once in broad daylight, but twice. And Shade is the second Pokemon to faint on this journey. This isn't a nocturnal Nuzlocke, although there might be an idea in there. And I am able to claim the Storm Badge after all. Chuck's wife will also give us Fly, which means I can teach it to Wise and head over to Mahogany Town, but I need to train my Pokemon up just a bit more before facing off with Price and his Ice-type trainers. Now in Pokemon Silver specifically, there are no nocturnal exclusives in the area of Mahogany Town, but there is a significant amount of storyline here, including Team Rocket influencing the early evolution of Magikarp at Lake of Rage. And this is where we first meet Lance, the Dragon Master, as well. And by agreeing to help Lance thwart Team Rocket in their plans, there are plenty of opportunities for me to level up my team before facing off with Price. However, because my night shifters often have to swap in and out to manage some difficult situations, leveling up is no joke. And Johto already has a bad reputation in terms of experience and experience curves. If you recall from the first episode, some of my team members won't evolve into their secondary forms. I like to think that Toot, my first Hoot, wouldn't want to evolve anyway. But we've collected just about as much experience as we can here as we disarm the final Electrode here at the hidden base. And just after lunch, my Noctowl Wise gives us a lift back to the Whirl Islands to level up my team, mainly my first stage Pokemon like Ghastly. The Tentacruel here have definitely helped my Night Shifters increase their special defense stat, but additionally, training day and night and balancing XP best I can, my unevolved Pokemon have learned way better moves much earlier. So by nightfall, I'm feeling ready to face Jasmine, but I think I forgot her at the lighthouse. I'll be right back. Jasmine's Steel-type Pokemon have excellent defense and resistances. However, my Nocturnal team of Pokemon relies specifically on their special attack stats. Now, I'm no expert on EV training, but I will share some of my favorite places to do such training in a little bit. Because, looking forward to the Elite Four, I have some cause for concern using my first stage Pokemon. Sure, they've been trained well and work synergistically in battle, but I can't sleep on the fact that I'll need a decisive edge on the Indigo Plateau. My team of Night Owls and I need to claim the Mineral Badge from Jasmine first, and that means dealing with these Steel-type Pokemon in whatever way we can. With my Hoo-Hoo and Noctowl pretty much out of the running for this match, my ghosts are vulnerable to paralysis and shock damage in the fray of battle tonight, which Gloom could withstand but remains fairly ineffective as Aho only attacks with the grass move Absorb for the moment. So after taking a huge gamble with Dreamcatcher, I put Jasmine Steelix to sleep and finalize the victory using Staryu Surf. Though Dreamcatcher came close, Wise and Shade are the only two Night Shifters to have fainted so far. I'm trying to continue that trend as I claim the Mineral Badge and forge forward to Mahogany Town once again. It's time to face Price and his Ice-type trainers. But hey, the caffeine's kicking in. Why stop now? We're on a roll. So inside the Mahogany Town gym, Aho will excel against the Water and Ice-type hybrid Pokemon therein. Not only that, we can thank all of the Tentacruel we fainted in the Whirl Islands for increasing our special defense against those Ice-type moves we're undoubtedly going to encounter here in this gym. And I gotta say, Aho really did surprise me. Even being my slowest Pokemon, its level allowed it to get the first lick in and put our opponents to sleep. But I can't chance a miss when I go into battle with Price. So Shade leads the charge, and with the help of 1x accuracy, lands the first Hypnosis. I mean, what better way to disarm foes using nighttime exclusive lineups than putting them to sleep? Aho bravely faces the chilly night, knocking Price's first pick out, and Shade manipulates HP bars from the Dream Realm, which is beautiful and terrifying all at once because 4 of Shade's allies can set up this attack. Last but not least, Gem steps up to wrap up Price's Piloswine by exploiting its weakness to water. Tonight is just not your night, Price. Hand it over. Once we heal up at the Pokemon Center, we'll need to chase Team Rocket out of the radio tower back in Goldenrod City and fight our rival along the way before we can make progress towards Blackthorn City and Claire's Dragon-type gym. Now at this point, our rival has a fleshed out team of 6 Pokemon, but Toot isn't quite fast enough to beat Golbat to the punch. I've got a plan to address this issue later, but seeing as I can't access the Ice Path just yet, that'll have to wait. Golbat are very good for training speed stats, but speaking of the Ice Path, there is a curiosity on my rival's team, and I think it's time to fill you in on a little secret. Sneasel is a Nocturnal exclusive, and I will add it to the NiteDex, but I'll have to claim 16 badges before I'm able to do so. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, only trainers in Pokemon Crystal could find Sneasel as early as the Ice Path. Now, while my rival may have been lucky enough to obtain this miraculous Sneasel, my team of Night Shifters is well practiced. And I found that most opponents here in Johto don't operate too well as long as you keep them up past their bedtime, allowing Silver's Insomniacs to shine. Now, don't get me wrong, my Nocturnal Pokemon have certainly come a long way since upgrading their movesets at much higher levels, but my team and I have exhausted almost all other trainers accessible in Johto thus far in the story, meaning pretty soon we're gonna have to rely on farming wild Pokemon for experience. But first, Team Rocket must be put to rest for good. And suddenly I realize that Houndour I just fainted. It's a Nocturnal exclusive, but where can I find it? In Pokemon Silver, it's not available until you reach Kanto. so my best option for now is to prepare to collect my final badge from Claire in Blackthorn City. Now, while training against these Golbat in the Ice Path to increase my speed stat, I do want to note that although it is dark inside the caves, Golbat and Zubat appear day and night. However, they're more prevalent during the nighttime hours. The dragons I'm about to face in Blackthorn City will require some extensive training there. Of course, my ghosts will play a critical role in the battles ahead, but they need some strong support. That means my Noctowl and Hoot Hoot need to learn a few new moves, as well as upping their stats. So after a short night shift grind, I enter the Blackthorn City gym and face off with the first cool trainer here. No matter your playstyle, the cool trainer here is not lying. Dragons can be pretty tough opponents. So naturally, I want my opponent asleep as soon as possible because each turn they're awake means one thing: Dragon Rage. It's always going to hit for 40 damage, and some of my Pokemon don't have incredible base HP. That said, after this very first battle, I had to immediately return to the Pokemon Center to restore my Night Shifters to full health before even considering going any further into the gym. Now, I do want to note that Staryu could learn Blizzard if you could afford it, and learn Team M16 after beating Price, but HP would remain an issue. And if you know anything about Claire, you know she's quite a bit scarier than the trainers inside her gym. Shade and Dreamcatcher, my Ghastly and Haunter are running pretty different movesets right now, but I'm going to need them both alive tonight if we're gonna stand any chance at victory in this battle. So after missing not just the first, but the second hypnosis as well, I'm starting to feel a little bit on edge. Maybe it's just the caffeine, but I'll need to restore Shade back to fighting shape before this Dragonair wakes up. I don't know, maybe it's all the energy under this full moon, but I just felt that Dreamcatcher needed to stick around just a little bit longer. This Dragonair was giving off an aura of resilience, and I could not risk throwing Shade into immediate doom, as it was also paralyzed from its first encounter with Claire's Pokemon. Now I can help Shade out there, but it's going to have to restore its own HP. It has to have enough to take at least one hit after cursing the next opponent, but since they're staying asleep, it's time for Shade to grab a snack or two and recuperate quite a bit of health from Dream Eater, as its base power is 100. It doesn't really matter too much that Claire's dragons have a somewhat decent special defense stat, so coupled with Ghastly's evolutionary line's typical high special attack stat, it is probably the best move to include in this Ghost's moveset. But tonight's showdown with Claire is evidence that no team member can do it alone. And when Claire's Kingdra makes its entrance, I know I've got to do my best to help my team members work together, take this thing down. It's considerably fast, hits pretty hard, and has a potential to paralyze Pokemon with its move, Dragon's Breath. Aho and I have been training against a ton of Tentacruel, and it raises our special defense just enough to tank yet another Hyper Beam, and once this beast is finally put to sleep, Shade can come in and clean things up. Now with the Rising Badge, the sky is the limit for my Nocturnal team. But before I head to the Indigo Plateau, there are a few things I want to address, and I'll begin with my NiteDex and how Eevee and Umbreon fit into this whole scheme. A viewer commented that Eevee technically doesn't need to be used in battle, and that it is essentially a pretty awesome Pokemon to include on a Nocturnal team. And I'll take Bill up on his offer to raise this one, but with a base friendship of 70 points, I've got a lot of steps to put in. But don't worry, there are plenty of late night haunts throughout Johto where we can train until we meet next. So, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next installment of Johto After Dark. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. I want your burger. Good night.